Commander say about his power level?
It's over 9,000!
What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right.
That should be the little picture for it. Just over 9,000. Hello, I am justifying over 9,000, which is a remix video. We are also using Restore. It is heavy meta, or sorry, no, these are orange cards. Wait. Yes, it involves Will Merrick, Sam Sandweiss, or it is also heavy. Wait, I have him in here twice. Never mind. It is heavy meta. This might be a bit confusing because, as you see, yeah, this is heavy meta because it's about the game. It's a game projects. It feels smooth. It just, as you're watching it, it's a remix video, so every beat hit, and it's a very smooth video. Shared universe, I actually went through and counted them up. It shares the universe not only with the 20 or so projects it features, but also the universes of Chip Harrington and the universes of Will Cherry playing himself. So that overall it counted for, I think, 50 deals, or it was 49 or 51, one of those. Outside in, a bunch of these projects, specifically, I guess you could say, Echo's person from East Coast, NYU students, just a lot of them. Alright, the other orange cards I'll just list off. Max Sherman, Austin Kilgore, Kevin Wong, Annie Lloyd, Connor Hall, Amy Harvey, Zach Madden, Arjun Sudik, Jeff Sendejas, Adriana Writings, Mercedes Morgan. I also said Will Merrick. And the other orange cards involved: Sam Sandweiss, Michael Effenberger, Michael Nader, Dylan Desvickus, Gus Bandinelli, Amir Mojardi, and Will Cherry. Also, local celebrities, because it features many people who had over 1,000 in the previous year. Right, on to the pink cards. Moral Anxiety. Several projects feature Moral Anxiety. Echoes features Moral Anxiety. Specifically Slender. There's Moral Anxiety whether or not to go after the Slender Man. Jesus, I have so many piles here. Social Change. Again, in Slender, the Slender has the possibility of creating social change, as well as, I think, overall in the game. The game created a social change amongst us freshmen. Social change again. Love. There are many instances of love in the game. I think we all love the game, and the process of playing it. Father figure. Jeff is a father figure to us freshmen. Urban Wasteland. I think this applies most directly to Nighttime Carnival, which shows LA in a very sort of urban wastelandy way. A rebel. There are many rebels. Chip Harrington in The Drop from Space is a bit of a rebel when he takes lots of drugs and goes to see the space shuttle. A symbol of hope. That is a symbol of hope, and it is featured in several shots. Statue of Douglas Fairbanks. It's in there a couple times, I think. Rise and Fall. A bunch of things have Rise and Fall. I'll keep using the one that I'm most familiar with, but Slender has the rise of discovering the Slender Man, and then the fall of being killed by the Slender Man. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna pull up the video right now so it's easier to justify. Here it is. Okay. The Muse. The game itself is a muse for us. These cards are muses because, or less metaphorically, I suppose, the actors that we cast are muses because we write things for each other to act in and create. Juvenile Delinquent. In Echoes, for example, the main character has to go outside the law and he is a juvenile, so that is a delinquent. Mad Prophet. Chip Harrington in The Drop from Space is a mad prophet. He's actually crazy, or rather on drugs. a twist. This video itself has a twist of it begins with the same music as the sci-fi remix, but then all of a sudden it's our projects. Few against the world. That's often how we felt as players of the game, that we were a few against this huge, not only ourselves but against this against the mechanisms of the game. And I think that's how we feel overall in the industry, perhaps. Body horror. Slender has a good deal of body horror, blood and whatnot. A trick. Many things involved in the game required tricks. I think more meta in a sense. Filmmaking is a trick. Is a visual trick. Close shave, again in Slender, he escapes the Slender Man by running away. Close shave. Choreography, there's a dance film included in this remix. The Sage, again, Jeff is a sage. Lost in a Strange Land. Many of us felt like we were lost in a strange land when we first came here to USC, and then we started playing the game. A chronicle. The video can be seen as the remix can be seen as a chronicle of the game, starting with very early projects and ending with itself. A visual metaphor. There are...
Just making sure it doesn't go to sleep.
Oh. A visual metaphor. The game symbol is a bit of a visual metaphor, just for how crazy and how I don't know, barbed the game can be at times. There are also a couple others in here that I'm forgetting. Jelly, representing the character's issues in Dial IP for Internet Protocol. Mind-altering drugs. Chip Harrington in the Drop from Space takes a good deal of mind-altering drugs. A band of outsiders. We were all essentially a band of outsiders before we came into USC and became a band of insiders. Magical protection. There are a couple shots of the teddy bear from the game Never Stop Playing, where the teddy bear offers him magical protection. In fact, he holds up the card in the shot. Something handmade. A lot of these do feature things that are handmade. For example, the Minecraft deal that I made with Daniel Tuckman. That was entirely handmade. It was just sitting there playing it on Minecraft. Made it by hand. A healer. The teddy bear is not only a magical protector, but also a healer. Psychological torment and Slender. The characters face a lot of psychological torment out of being chased by the Slender Man. A hunter. Slender Man is a hunter. He's also an unwanted visitor. He commits murder. There are a couple pathological liars. Echoes, the couple characters are pathological liars. Slender Man, it is said, could cause the collapse of civilization. Chip Harrington, when he takes so many drugs, thinks he might be hallucinating the space shuttle, or rather has a hallucinatory event. A brotherhood. The game created a kind of brotherhood amongst teams, amongst everyone, really. God for a day. For 24 hours you feel unstoppable. That's exactly what happens when you play a Points Bonanza card. Found footage. Included in this is footage from Abandon, which is a found footage film that Fortuna made, also the team formerly known as Incendia. A reversal. There are many reversals just in the remix itself, and also just in terms of, when you hear the music, like I said, it's the same music as used in sci-fi remix, but then it's our own work. A twist. That's a repeat. An anti-hero. Will in the game Never Stop Playing is a bit of an anti-hero because he's basically going against Jeff's wishes and trying to get more cards and play the game. A crooked cop. Dial IP for Internet Protocol. Main character is a crooked cop who beats people up and stuff. Betrayal. I think betrayal is kind of an inherent part of the game, just in terms of the way teams are formed and people can eventually betray each other, or perhaps fear of betrayal over the course of the game. Also, in the game Never Stop Playing, the character of Will is betrayed by the cards themselves, actually. Anthropomorphism, the teddy bear who talks to Will in the game Never Stop Playing. Robots. There was talk that the game should be more automated and thus should have more robotic senses. This is a bit of a stretch, I know. The space shuttle and the drop from space is also technically a robot. A sneak attack. The character is sneak attacked by Slenderman. Breaking a rule, you have to learn how to do this in order to play the game, more or less. But also, Dial-IP for Internet Protocol, one of the characters is breaking a rule by torrenting stuff, and thus he gets punched in the face many, many times. Service, the game is, I keep trying to relate everything to the game, but the game is essentially a service for us, as well as being a game. And also, the character from Dial-IP for Internet Protocol is a cop, and he, you know, is serving the public. A poem, I'd say the remix, let's see, what was it? There was something poetic. I'll come back to that one. A search for freedom, when people are running away from Slenderman, they're searching for freedom. A sight gag, there are several of those. My favorite one is at the very end when we show the wall from Wahaha. Again, breaking a rule. 2-hour wait. That refers to the amount of time that it takes and more for a deal from you to justify a deal to it showing up on the website. As well as, you know, it took 2 hours to basically edit this too. That's not including downloading and playing it. Disgusting concept. A Slenderman is a pretty disgusting concept when you think about it, and all the tentacles and stuff. Fall from grace. The game never stopped playing. The character of Will kind of is, you know, falls from grace from being the winner of the previous game and kind of pathetically trying to play the next year. Dread. If there's one thing that Slenderman inspires, it's dread. No Place Like Home. There was one video in here that I shot at home over a break when I went back there, and so it definitely felt like there's no place like home. And also the game office could be considered a home, and so yeah, it's about obsession. I think that's pretty clear that we're all kind of obsessed with the game. Unrequited love. Character in Echoes has unrequited love. That's kind of what is driving him. A non sequitur. A lot of the video seems like a bit of a non sequitur because it's just a bunch of clips stacked together. But at the end, when you have the Mwahaha deal along with West Butter Pond Stipley, that's a pretty good non sequitur. An ideogram, symbol an image that represents, like I said, this represents the game. That symbol. Check it out. I think halfway through, almost halfway. A person, place, or thing. Oh yeah, that is yes. A clever quip. There are many clever quips in all of these projects. I think in the remix itself, West Butter Pond Stipley playing at the end acts as itself a clever quip to the end of the game by bringing it back to some of the sillier projects that we made at the beginning, especially Mwahaha. Band of Outsiders, it's a repeat. Fortress, in the game Never Stop Playing, Will tries to find the fortress. Slenderman is a creeper. He's also a tramp. He has no home and just sort of wanders. Indeed, Slenderman is also a myth. And I'd say the video leaves you on a bit of a cliffhanger because it sort of shows you all the projects made for the game and then teases you with sort of more, and then it ends. Emotional disconnect. Several characters in the remix have an emotional disconnect. Especially, I'd say, with the more self-referential ones, with the game where they have a disconnect with other players as a result of the game. Involving pride, if there's something that the game tests, it's our own personal pride, and how much we were able to stoop to certain levels for points. Greed, again, we all want points. That's what this is about. That's what the game is about.
Greed.
Huh?
It's not about greed. That's what it evolves into greed.
Okay, that's what it evolves into. That's when the arc.
I think like the game evolves. Like the project evolved to greed, but
the project evolves to greed.
It's not greed based.
It's not greed based, but it evolves into. And I think, especially with Mwahaha at the end, that was, I think, the epitome of projects that were simply about greed. The news. The game was news to us when we first came here. A stranger comes to town. Again, we were all strangers who came to town. Ambition. If there's something else in the game, is that it's also about ambition and us trying to after we came here as a group of completely separate people, trying to create these massive projects, and I think Austin can very much speak to the fact that his team had quite grand ambitions.
For what?
Your team had quite grand ambitions.
For what?
The game. Yes.
Yeah, I'd call it that.
Unwitting pawn. One of the things that the game has is orange cards, and often people can become unwitting pawns. Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be going for another hour.
Is this the 9,000 point one?
Yeah.
Yo, put your team on your back, though.
Shut up with it.
A false assumption. Many people falsely assumed the game was about, being creative and false assumption. The guy falsely assumes that Slender is not behind him. He assumes the hallway is empty, but turns out he is. Obsolescence. Okay, I looked up what this meant and then I forgot it.
Here.
Can you look at what that means? Alright, I'll put it aside. Cop Civilization, let's repeat.
Yeah.
Harbinger of Doom. Slender Man is a Harbinger of Doom.
Obsolescence is a state of being which occurs when an object, service, or practice is no longer wanted, even though it may still be in good working order.
This could definitely refer to all the leftover cards that we're not using. Yep. A lost one. Slender Man, when he takes you, you are a lost one. That happens to Cosmo and Slender. You see him, the blood dripping. A ritual. Justification itself is a ritual, as well as Slender Man chasing and then killing his prey is a ritual. Yeah, there are shots in the game Never Stop Playing of all of these cards being laid out on the table, and I think doing that is a pretty inherent ritual in the game. A doppelganger. There are several actors in here, or rather classmates of ours, that play multiple parts in a sense, and then in the remix video this look like they're the same person, so they're really doppelgangers.
It's the same.
Insubordination. Dial IP for Internet Protocol. The guy that the policeman is trying to catch is very insubordinate, and he doesn't give up the head of the IP ring. A turf war. The game Never Stopped Playing. There was a turf war that plays out in the basement of the PE building. Spying. Dial IP for Internet Protocol. He spies on the guy that later takes into interrogation. A quest. Game Never Stopped Playing. It's a quest to get cards and play the game again. A princess in the dance video Cantique that is included. Character dances around like as a princess. Dust. There's a lot of dust around. I think in Sledgehammer, Brian literally gets covered in like dust and plaster and all this like random stuff when he starts destroying whatever the heck that he was destroying.
His sculpture.
His sculpture. Why was he destroying his sculpture?
It's part of an art piece of how it's illustrative of a relationship and how it's built strong but then brought down by a hammer.
Was that just the bullshit that you came up with for justification? That was actually...
He's a fine arts major, that's
okay. Moral anxieties, repeat. Split personality, and Echo's one of the characters is split personality. SCA Courtyard featured a lot in this remix. A challenge. The game itself is a challenge for all of us, just in creating all these projects. An anti-hero. The hero of the game Never Stopped Playing is a bit of an anti-hero. X marks the spot. In terms of like following a trail to reach treasure, the main character of the game Never Stopped Playing follows the cards in an attempt to hit the treasure. A journey. The game itself is a journey for all of us, and I think the remix video, if anything, shows the progress of that journey, or the overall. Hesitance. The stick man reaching a thing on the ground has a bit of hesitance before he reaches down to pick it up. An affair. In the game Never Stopped Playing, they refer to it as the cherry affair, I believe. And also there's the affair of the IP addresses, which the character refers to. The grind. The game itself is a bit of a grind as you get into the middle and later weeks when just justifying so many projects over and over. A brain. Everyone involved has one, I think. A code. There is sort of a code to, I think, both the remix and the game. I keep referring to the remix specifically. There's the code of Mwaha and West Butter Pond Stipley is quite difficult to figure out. Humans versus machines. There is a motif of humans versus machines in The Drop from Space when it juxtaposes Elan with the space shuttle. Curiosity kills the cat. When Will in The Game Never Stopped Playing is curious, he ends up getting punched in the face. The male gaze. Many things are shot with the male gaze. I think specifically the clips from Kill Your Heroes are quite male gazy, if you ask me. A successor. In Slender, Jeff's character, I forget what his name was, is a successor in terms of being Slender Man's prey to Cosmo's character. The Outer Regions of Space is a shot where it zooms out from the Earth and we see the outer regions of space. Close Shave, I think I may have justified this before, runs away from Slender Man. Close Shave. A family. We all become a bit of a family when we play the game in terms of teams and becoming closer as a class, or hating each other like families sometimes do. Thanksgiving just happened. Apocalypse. Slender Man can cause the apocalypse. Machines versus humans. I already justified this one. A decoy protagonist. In Slender Man, you're given in Slender, I should say, Cosmo is a decoy protagonist because you follow him and then you think he's your character for the short film and then he gets killed. Crap! Did go to sleep. The Phoenix. There is a bit of a, let's see, what was I going to? I'll come back to this one. Choreography, I justified that one. Conspiracy, The Game Never Stopped Playing. It alludes to a bit of a larger conspiracy involving the team of the Fortress. The Lone Wolf, many characters are lone wolves. The main character of Slender Man in Slender. Slender himself is a lone wolf. Will in The Game Never Stopped Playing. Diligence, the game requires diligence, but also people are constantly working. In Echoes, in The Game Never Stopped Playing, in the Kovacs Chronicles. Movie Star, Chip Harrington, is constantly referred to as Movie Star. Lost Innocence. There are many, Echoes, for example, has a theme of sort of losing your innocence, as well as just the game itself, in terms of film school innocence. Blindsiding. Guy gets blindsided by Slender Man. In Another Man's Shoes. In order to figure out what Slender Man is, the guy in Slender has to walk in Cosmo's shoes and become the guy being killed. Battle Royale. The game itself is a bit of a battle royale in terms of we're all thrown into this and then forced to fight against each other. A ghost. Slender Man looks like a ghost. An explosion. There was I think the remix shows there was actually a metaphorical explosion of projects that happened, but I'm pretty sure there's a literal explosion somewhere in here that I'm forgetting. Yeah. Body horrors. Oh, I already just read this one. Runes. The way that LA is shot in Nighttime Carnival definitely resembles sort of like ruins of a lost civilization I mentioned earlier as an urban wasteland. Pathological Liar. I think I already just read this one. A Healer. I already did that one. Bounty. Again, Game Never Stopped Playing. Bounty. Statue of Douglas Fairbanks did that. Coins. There's a shot of coins in the middle, or rather, money. A hunter. Slender is a hunter. Wait, I did that one. Slender's also a seeker, seeking to kill people. The start of something great. I think when the semester first began, it was truly the start of something great in terms of all these projects that ended up being made. That's something to say, Austin. Evil Twin is an Evil Twin in Echoes. Madness. The game definitely could cause you to go mad. And in a completely unrelated topic, there's a shot of Rob Starzak in here. Polar opposites. The way that it worked out this year is there were kind of two teams that were polar opposites in terms of not only the way they did things, but also their responses to one another. The Xander Legacy and Incendia. A Mole. I'm going to do that one later, too. Living Toy, the teddy bear. Bait and Switch. going into the hallway and then finding Slenderman there as beta switch, as well as when a remix video starts and has the same music as the sci-fi remix. Heartthrob, Chip Harrington is a movie star, and it's not such to assume that he's a heartthrob. Coming of age, not only in a meta sense is the game a coming of age experience in film school, but also just like in Echoes, it's a coming of age story, and a couple of these have that element. An unwitting pawn, in Cinema 4 Gets Down, there are several people who wandered through the shots who then became unwitting pawns in that video. Like me. A discovery. The game was a discovery to all of us, although we knew that it was going to happen. How it exactly panned out was a discovery, and also people in the videos discover things. Guy discovers that in Hello, he discovers that a Russian hitman standing next to him. Yeah. A detour. Also in Slender, he's forced to take a detour when he realizes that Slenderman is standing right behind him. Alright, last ones. Love triangle. There is a love triangle in Echoes, but I'm not going to go too much into it. But there's a love triangle in Echoes. A poem. The Cartographers was basically a poem that had Google Images connected to it, or Google Maps images connected to it. The Phoenix. In terms of anything that rises from the ashes or is born again, a new life. Cosmo in Slender is killed, or seemingly killed, but then he's randomly brought back to life to be a warning to. So he's sort of a phoenix in Slender. And a mole again with Cosmo in Slender. He's a bit of a mole in terms of although Slenderman brings him back to scare Jeff, or I think his name is Seth. He in fact tells him to run instead. So he acts as a mole in the Slenderman mold. That's it. I'm done. That's over. Okay. Good night.